Dear students, welcome to the next lecture of electrical measurement. Now, in the last lecture, we discussed some of the important characteristics related to the instruments. The characteristics that were discussed were accuracy, precision, resolution, threshold. Okay, so now we have to move on to our next topic, and that is bridges for different types of measurement. Okay, so first of all, as you might be aware that a bridge is nothing but you can say that it's a network forming a closed circuit having four different arms. Okay, so uh, it's a closed circuit having four arms. Okay, and there are different components connected in these four arms. uh, it might be resistance, inductance, or capacitance depending on a specific bridge circuit. Okay, and obviously a DC source of current has to be applied to the two opposite junctions, and a detector is also placed in this bridge circuit. So this also is an important part, that is this detector which is being present in a bridge circuit, and a source. Okay, that is a voltage source or a current source. Now these bridge circuits, most of the time they are being used to measure the different components like the resistance, inductance, and capacitance. Okay, so we have different bridge arrangements for measuring each of these components. Okay, so actually in the bridge circuit, the procedure of measuring the value is based on the comparison, okay, of the unknown component with that of an accurately known component, that we call a standard. Okay, that is accurately known component is called a standard. So we actually compare the value of an unknown component, so you can say that the measurement is based on comparison of unknown quantity with an accurately known value or quantity, you can say. Okay, so and this you can call as standard. Okay, so we have already talked about the standard in our previous lectures. So that is why, due to this reason, that is the measurement is actually based on the comparison method. So due to this reason, the normally the accuracy of bridge circuits is high. Okay, so accuracy is high. This is just due to the reason that the comparison is based on the null indication at bridge balance. So the detector which is being placed in this circuit, so actually when this detector shows the null position, So at that instant of time the quantity is being determined. So the you can say that the measurement is actually based on the null indication of this detector in the bridge circuit. So uh, this is the reason of the accuracy of the bridge methods. Okay, so measurement accuracy you can say is therefore directly related to the accuracy of the bridge component and not to that of the null indicator or detector which is being used here. Okay, so a very common example uh, of a bridge circuit, if we talk about the measurement of resistance, can be the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so if you just draw a Wheatstone bridge, let me just draw a Wheatstone bridge. Okay, let us just erase this part. So then there will be a detector. So okay, it will be just connected to this point, and there will be a source of voltage. So okay, let us call these resistances as R1, R2, R3 and R4. This is the DC source and this is a switch. Okay, so this is a Wheatstone bridge arrangement. You can just write down, this is a Wheatstone bridge arrangement for the measurement of resistance. Okay, so we are talking here about the measurement of resistance. Okay, so in this Wheatstone bridge method for the measurement of resistance, which can uh, you can say is more popular in laboratory use. So the circuit diagram is being shown here. Okay, and there is a source of EMF or voltage you can say, and a switch which is connected in this circuit. Let me just write down these points as well. Let us call this point as point A, that is this point. This is point B, this is point C, and let us call this point as point T. Okay, so the voltage is being applied between these points, uh, or you may call it this point as point B and this point as point D. So the voltage source is being applied in between the points A and B, and a detector, okay, is being connected in between these points C and D. Okay, so this galvanometer or detector, sometimes it can be a microammeter also with a zero center scale. Okay, so when there is no current through the meter, the pointer of this galvanometer, it will just be remain at zero position. Okay, and if there is a current in one direction, then it will cause the pointer to deflect on one side and the current in the opposite direction to the other side. Okay, so just depending on the direction of current which is flowing in the circuit, the pointer will deflect to different positions. Okay, so when this switch is closed, so obviously the current will start flowing in the circuit. Okay, and after reaching this point, it will just divide into two different arms. Okay, so you can just also mark the currents. Let us call this as I1, let us call this as I2. Okay, so two different currents will flow in two different branches, and the bridge will be balanced when there is no current through this galvanometer or detector. Okay, So in what situation there will be no current flowing through this? So that situation will be when the potential difference between these 2 points, that is point C and point D, it will become 0. Okay, that is the potential at points C and D when they will be equal. So potential difference between these 2 points will be 0. Okay, and only in that situation the current will not flow through this, or there will be zero current flowing through this. Okay, so from this circuit diagram, to obtain the bridge balance equations for obtaining bridge balance I1 R1 will be equal to I2 R2. Okay, and for the current in the galvanometer to be 0, what are the conditions that should be satisfied? So let me just write down on the next page. For galvanometer current to be 0, I1 equals to I3, which is E upon R1 plus R3, and I2 should be equal to I4, which is nothing but E upon R2 plus R4. Okay, so if you just substitute these values of I1 and I2 in this previous equation, okay, let us call this as equation 1. So if you just substitute these values in equation 1, what you will get, you can just see here. Okay, just we are substituting the expressions which we have just obtained in equation 1. So it will be R1 multiplied by R2 plus R4 and R2 multiplied by R1 plus R3. So it will be R1 R2 I'm sorry, it will be plus R1 R4, which is equal to R1 R2 plus R3 R2. So from here R4 will be equal to R2 R3 over R1. Okay, so this is the equation for the bridge to be balanced. Okay, so the bridge, if the bridge is balanced, then this equation will hold. Okay, so what we do in a practical circuit of Wheatstone bridge, that we actually make one of the resistance in one of the branch adjustable just to obtain the balancing. Okay, so just by varying that one resistance, we should be able to obtain the balance condition or the null deflection in the detector. Okay, so when the bridge is balanced, the unknown resistance may be determined from the setting of that adjustable resistor. Okay, so sometimes or most of the times the unknown resistance is placed in this arm, that is this R4 arm. So in place of this, if this is an unknown resistance, so we can also call it as Rx. So in that case, the unknown resistance or Rx will be equal to R2 R3 over R1. Now there is a term sensitivity which can be defined for a bridge circuit. Okay, so if the bridge is in unbalanced condition, the current will flow through the galvanometer, causing the deflection of its pointer, that we have already discussed. Okay, so whenever the bridge will be in unbalanced condition, then a current will flow through the detector, and we are able to see the deflection in the pointer of the detector. So uh, we will just know that the bridge is in unbalanced condition. Okay, so actually the amount of deflection is a function of the sensitivity of the galvanometer. Okay, so we can call the sensitivity as the deflection per unit current. Okay, so deflection per unit current. Okay, so that means that if a galvanometer is more sensitive, then it will deflect by a greater amount for the same current. Okay, so that is the meaning of the sensitivity for a galvanometer. So this Wheatstone bridge method uh, is used for most of the times for measuring the resistance, okay, of various types of wire. So either for the purpose of quality control of the wire itself, or maybe some other assembly in which it is used. Okay, so this is the common application, you can say, of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, but at the same time there are certain limitations as well of this Wheatstone bridge method. Okay, now what are the limitations? The limitations of Wheatstone bridge actually comes when we talk about the low resistance measurement, and low resistance measurement means that the magnitude of the resistance is usually less than 1 ohm. Okay, so in that case what happens, that the resistance of the leads and contacts, they become significant, and that introduces the error in the measurement. Okay, so limitations is that it cannot be used for low resistance measurement. Okay, why? Because in that case the resistance of the leads and contacts introduces error in the measurement. Okay, and similarly it cannot be used for the measurement of high resistance as well. Okay, because in that case the resistance presented by the bridge becomes so large that galvanometer becomes you can say insensitive to imbalance. Okay, so it cannot just detect the unbalance in the circuit for very high resistance measurement. Okay, and one more problem this Wheatstone bridge has is that the change in the resistance of the bridge arms due to the heating effect of the current through the resistance. Obviously you know that the when the temperature rises, so it can change the resistance. Okay, so the rise in temperature actually causes a change in the value of the resistance which are present in the arms. Okay, so that is why excessive current may cause a permanent change in value. So these are certain limitations. So uh, if we focus on this low resistance measurement, so we have just discussed that the due to the resistance of the leads and contacts, we cannot measure the low resistance with this Wheatstone bridge method. Okay, so we have a different method for measuring the low resistance values, and that is actually known as a Kelvin's bridge method. Okay, so we will discuss that Kelvin's bridge method in the next lecture. Okay, and there we shall see that how the contacts and lead resistance can be eliminated by using that Kelvin's bridge method. It is also known as a Kelvin's double bridge. Okay, so both are synonymous. Uh, it can also be called Kelvin double bridge or Kelvin's bridge. So we will see that in next lecture. Thank you very much.